Hey, Sunshine Parenting listeners, and welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. This week, I have another walk and talk episode with my friend Sarah Salsa Kuljis. We're hoping that you'll strap on your walking shoes and join us as we share encouragement and ideas with each other and with you. All right. Well, welcome everybody. We're back for Salsa and Sunshine Walk and Talk number 5. Hey, Salsa.
Yay. Hey, Sunshine. Sunshine brings the hopefulness and the lightness and the optimism. And then perhaps I'll bring the spicy, zesty, and possibly snarky on occasion.
Yeah, and this week, I think some silly too. We got some silly in there.
All the S's, good. We'll do that.
All the S's go with you. So anyway, this is not our normal time, but you know how things are in life. Yesterday didn't work out for our live recording, so we regrouped. So this is kind of a really fun way. We're starting our weekend together. And I know you had a really busy week.
I did. This week was just jam-packed, and a lot of it was good stuff. It's just a lot of stuff. So I am super grateful for a weekend to come in. And you've had a special week this week.
I have. Actually, it's really fun. I can't believe, I think I've been here in this place for more of our talks than other places. This is my Idaho. Yeah, 3 out of 5. So I'm in Ketchum, Idaho with my parents, which is so fun. It's their first time here in 2.5 years. And we have some helpers here, and we're just kind of, I'm calling it, Camp Woodhaven. That's the name of their house, because I've been sort of the camp director, trying to have some fun activities here, and just enjoying just being with my parents, like kind of full time for the whole week. Brought 2 of my kids here, a couple of small dogs, and we have a couple of friends too. So we're just kind of having a little family party up here. It's really nice that the helpers are all vaccinated. My parents are vaccinated. So it's so nice to feel like we can just hang out with them. So it's been really, really fun. So yeah. So anyway, we are just going to do a quick one today, everybody. If you haven't listened before, so Sarah and I are not only great friends, but we have a very similar professional background. We are both children's summer camp owners and directors. Salsa, or Sarah, has 3 different camps: Yosemite Sierra Summer Camp, Emerald Cove Day Camp, and ECOS, which is what does ECOS stand for? Education Center.
It's Emerald Cove Outdoor Science Institute. It's outdoor science for 5th and 6th graders.
Yeah, so you guys are just like the camp moguls. I just have my one camp, Gold Arrow Camp. But anyway, we have been friends for a long time, I think 2 decades or more, and have a lot in common in both what we do for our jobs and what we really care about. So we have always spent a lot of time together chatting about books we're reading, podcasts we're listening to, ideas we have to help make our families happier and more connected, and our camps more connected and happy. So all these things. So we decided, we've done many podcast episodes together over the years on Sunshine Parenting, but we decided for something new this year, just to have really casual conversations and invite you along and get our exercise at the same time. Because as many of us know, sometimes it's hard to fit it all in. And so I love scheduling meeting a friend for a walk. So Sarah and I started meeting for walks on our treadmills because we're not in the same city. And then we decided to invite you along. So what we're hoping is when these come out on the podcast, which they've been coming out about every other week on the podcast. We're hoping that this might be something that you pop in your ears and walk with us while we're walking, because then we won't feel bad that we're breathing heavily alone.
Absolutely. Breathe heavy with us.
Yes. And drink water, hydrate often too. While you're walking. But anyway, but also Sarah and I, there's a couple things that it's kind of magical when you're moving your body, right? When you're walking, not only if you're walking with a friend, sometimes things come to you, ideas, or you feel more comfortable sharing things. And I think it's really cool. And then the other thing is Sarah and I really we're better together when we bounce ideas off of each other. Sarah says something and it reminds me of something, and vice versa. So we just really enjoy doing these together, and we hope you're enjoying it too. We're getting some positive feedback. Even shout out to Salsa's sister, who I guess listened on a drive recently. So, I know Kate likes to listen. So anyway, if you listen and you enjoy it, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. You can comment on the Facebook Live video, or you can just send an email to Audrey at sunshine-parenting.com, and I'll pass it along to Sarah too.
Thank you.
One of the things that we like to talk about every week, because it's something that Sarah is so good at, is affirmations. And affirmations are just such a great thing that we can do for our children and for pretty much everyone in our lives. So every week that we're together, we share one. So what do you have for us this week?
Well, this week, being a very full and kind of busy week, I was struck by how so many mundane things happen and kind of pass by us. And so I built today's affirmation recommendation a little bit around the mundane. So, often it's not hard to affirm or praise our kids when they do something amazing and big and spectacular. But we also want to kind of grow that identity of doing something beautifully well when nobody's looking. And so my encouragement for this week is to watch your kids as they go about their normal stuff, their mundane stuff. Maybe it's the chores, doing their laundry, doing their homework, cleaning up after the dog, and catch them doing something very well, maybe a couple times, and then take that opportunity to really affirm them. Earlier this week, my daughter had done the dishes, and when Sasha does the dishes, she's in a rotation with her brother and my husband. I do the cooking, they do the dishes. And Sasha just, when she does the dishes, she does it so completely, so well. The sink is washed out, everything's put away. Like she just takes a lot of pride in doing the dishes very well. And so I called it out and I affirmed her and I said that makes my mornings better when I wake up and the kitchen's just so clean. And, it's one of those normal, everyday, mundane things. And it's easy to skip over that with our kids because that's a chore. They're supposed to do it. But catching our kids doing something ordinary very, very well, and then building them up for it, hopefully that sets them on a path to, take pride even in the mundane. So that is my recommendation this week.
Oh, just love that. Works with our spouses too.
Oh, yes, it does.
And with like at work,
don't tell them we said that.
Yeah, and at work, like people you supervise, like that was one of the things that you really want to show people, that you're noticing all the good things that they do, not just when they mess up, because we all mess up sometimes too. So I love that. I have a whole chapter in my book called "Catch Them Doing Something Right." So
yes,
I love that.
Do. Yes, you do.
Affirmation. It's one of my favorites. All right. So next, we like to share our highs and lows of the week, which I hadn't even really thought about it until we started walking here. So do you have anything ready, Sarah? Either one, your high or your low yet?
Well, I'll share my low first, and it's actually not my low. It was my son's low that I picked up and carried in my heart. So my son is delivering for Postmates, and you got to deliver quick and fast and get as many deliveries in to really make it worth your while financially. And this week, unfortunately, he got a parking ticket for parking in a zone for less than 60 seconds. It was about 40 seconds. And I just felt so bad that, he's been so industrious and so being responsible and independent about this. And then to get a parking ticket that kind of erased 2 days of work, that's just really hard. But he bounced right back and he was out the next day. And I love his resilience. But that was my low. I thought, no, that's not fair. 45 seconds of a parking. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm sure.
That's so disappointing.
It was very disappointing. I was a little miffed at that police officer who was doing his job very well.
Hey listeners, just popping in here because Sarah had a bit of an issue with her audio. So I'm going to resume back her talking about her high of the week, and I asked her to reiterate what was missed in the lost audio.
I take mental health really, really seriously, and I think it's important, and I think we need to have those conversations about anxiety and stress with middle schoolers and high schools and any age person, but to really name it, kind of demystify it, take the shame out of it, help them know that it's normal to be stressed. And so what are we going to do about it? And then hopefully equip them with tools. Anyway, it was just such a privilege to get to have that talk. And I so was grateful for their attention and their earnestness. So it felt like a really kind of worthwhile evening. That was my high.
Okay, that sounds so good, but the whole first part you were breaking up. So I heard the end part, but it sounds like your high was you got to talk to this group of kids.
Yes, it was. I got to talk to a youth group this Wednesday.
Oh, that's so great. And they were really vulnerable and people shared and it was good.
Well, they weren't super open, but their attentiveness, they were
okay.
Their eyes were fixed, but it's a pretty, it's hard to be open about your stresses and your anxieties, but their attention was amazing. And actually the leaders said so. So I hope you got to trust that it's, for a good purpose.
Oh, I love that they invited you to do that. You're the perfect person to talk to them. That's awesome. So good. So good.
What about you? What were your highs and lows?
Yeah. Let's see. I am going to think of something really fast here. When did we talk last? Let's see. Well, I guess I'll just kind of go back a little ways. I had a really nice run. I haven't been running that much. I've been using my Peloton mostly, but I went like a week ago Saturday on a 6-mile super slow run and just loved it. Just being outside. It was so crisp. I love this kind of weather that's just crisp and everything's blooming, and just love the whole spring thing. I think also, and I talked about this last time, I'm just feeling so it's a high just every time more news comes out about COVID rates going down and death rates going down, and the big news recently that now schools, now the kids can be 3 feet apart, which, it's hard to keep kids apart in any case, but that's great news for schools, for camps, for everywhere. Just that, I was laughing that I think it was just for kids, right? Because I was thinking, oh, everyone's gonna have to change their stickers on the ground if it changes for adults. How there's stickers everywhere and they're all personalized for the stores and stuff. So I was thinking, anyway, so we haven't had our stickers made yet. So this is great. We can now we can create our own, probably stones, or something campy, right?
That's right. Little pine cones, 3 feet apart.
Pine cones. The pine cones just sits 3 feet apart throughout camp. Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, just a general high. And then we started this conversation, just being with my parents has been really fun. We've had some good laughs, and it's just goofy and fun to be with them again. Let's see, lows, and I guess this is just I'm learning to get through this low, but I was I got 0 work done this week. I didn't even have time to check my email, which is nothing that new. People are kind of getting used to me not being the greatest email person, but I do feel it. I kind of feeling oops, I didn't do that again. But I do know that I'm where I'm supposed to be right now, and I'll be back next week and I'll be able to get caught up, and nothing is that urgent at this point. So, but I do like being productive, and I have been profoundly unproductive in terms of work, but I would say personally and relationally very productive, right?
I think you're right where you're supposed to be. You're putting your attention to the most important thing this week. And as you said, you've sort of been a camp director for your family, especially your parents. And what a gift to them. This is going to be the highlight of their spring and maybe year. And so I would just stay right there, and you'll get back to the office when you get back to the office.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that affirmation. See, this is why I like these walks with you. I keep feeling myself getting reminded about the importance of presence. And it was my word for last year, but I still just that whole, I just hope we've all become more able to be in the moment that we're in. And not on that kind of constant busyness, craziness. So I really hope as we come out of this, which I'm so happy that we are starting to come out of this season of pandemic. My son's going back to school April 5th, celebrate. So for being a junior in high school, I've been, missing like basically left sophomore year, March, and now he's coming back. What are we in? I don't know. He has like 8 weeks left or 6 weeks left, but I don't care. I'm excited. So, so yeah, as we come out of this, I just want to be good about how I put things back in, and not losing some of those times of just being present and not being so wrapped up in what I need to get done and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's one of those silver lining things. So the next part of our walk and talk, we like to share just random resources, ideas, whatever that we come up with. And this week it's kind of a silly one. And I'm sure most people use this, but not everyone does. And so I just want to share. So, so my parents have some helpers that help with like cooking and taking care of them and stuff. And they, they have one person does most of the grocery shopping. And every time for the list for the grocery store, it's been sort of this texting and calling and, oh, we need this. And, it's kind of like how sometimes my home has been. And like what my family has switched to doing is using the Notes app on our phone. And we just have a standing grocery list on the phone in our notes, and it's shared with everyone in the family. So when you're out of something, you just add it on there. And then the next person who goes can just access the list and remind people to add things to it. So I got that set up for my parents' team, and they're having fun with it. And it's just kind of fun. So I got them oriented to it this week. And I just realized that it's that idea. And I think what made me think of it is, I think I told you about the book. I just got it. I haven't started it, but it's called A World Without Email by Cal Newport.
Yes.
And he's one of my favorites. He wrote Deep Work, Digital Minimalism. Anyway, I heard him on a podcast, so I kind of know the basic concept, which is email has a purpose and a place. It should be for things like distinct things, like you're mailing a document that needs to be, or setting up an appointment or something like that with a calendar link. But what he contends, and I agree with, is by using it for a lot of like back and forth discussion or conversation about projects, about big tasks, about whatever, it's really, it's wasting a lot of our time. And when we can instead both be working off of the same document. So for example, you and I, Sarah, we have a shared Google Doc, right? As we think of ideas for our walk and talks, we can stick it on there. I can see what you've added, you can see what I've added. So we're collaborating on that. So we're not sending each other an email. Oh, which resource are you sharing? What do you think? Whatever, we just collaborate. And so this notes thing for the grocery store is a very simple idea, but I think this can be translated to a lot of other things, like a family shared Google Calendar. Super simple. A kid is at their dentist making their next appointment. It goes on there. They have a sports thing banquet that they want you to go to. They put it on there. So everyone's looking at the same thing. Anyway, it's just like, I just feel like this concept can simplify our lives. And people think, and we all thought, and I thought so too, I thought email was the greatest thing ever, because I thought, oh, this means I won't have as many phone messages at the office. The thing is that it's too, I don't know what his words are, but it's too low of an entry point. It's so easy to send an email that we send an email even when we don't need to. Like even when we could take a little time to figure something out, or we could wait until we have a meeting that's set up the next day. Or if we have an office group, if we have a touch base meeting about projects at the beginning of each day, most things can wait till that, if you have these collaborating spaces. So it's just really interesting to me to think about how we do this and how we use that. Anyway, so it's kind of a long story short is shared project space can really make life easier and make communication clearer. So
I so appreciate that. We're doing that more with work in particular. But when you said sometimes it's almost too easy just to send an email, I have been noticing in the last couple of years, if someone can't find some information and go look, and they know they have it, they just don't know where it is. Sometimes they'll just shoot you an email and ask you for it. Then you're digging for it and handing it to them when perhaps they could maybe be a little more organized or spend 2 minutes looking for it too. And then somehow we get sucked down these rabbit holes. So I appreciate that wisdom.
Well, it's true, like with camp, for example, or with our schools, they send us some important information, right? Like a document that we need to review and sign or something like that. And it can get lost amidst a bunch of back and forth type of things. And so we need to reserve it for the real thing. So like, when your camp sends you out the handbook and the checklist and the form, setup, that's kind of an important thing, right? That parents need to read. And so, but it does get lost in their feed. And so, like you said, the email, but when you have if you say to people, give me a call if you have any questions about this project, or these are my office hours, I'm fully available from this time to answer any questions you have about this. It actually is good. It helps people because then they say, oh, I'm going to review this. I can ask questions here. They're going to be available on the phone or in a Zoom call or whatever. And it actually helps people plan and prepare.
I love that. Yes. Can you come over and whip my family into shape? I'm better at work, but at home it's a little more chaotic.
That is, Sarah, that's universally true. In my parent coaching, it's funny, I see this light bulb go off in people's minds. I say, so have you ever worked somewhere where you managed other people? And usually both people are like, oh yeah, I have. So I said, well, how do you motivate your employees to do, and it's like this light bulb of how they kind of separate the domains and these great skills they have for communication and catching people doing something right and regular evaluations and, all this good stuff totally has gone out the window at home. Whereas if you just kind of apply what you already use best in your other relationships at work, it actually, a lot of them translate very well.
I agree. That's so good. Thank you I'm like grocery lists. We have it taped to the counter and you add to it, but then it gets coffee poured on it. And then I forget to take it to the office. And then there we go. So that's good. And then thank you for the recommendation.
Sure. And if someone's at the store, they can just look. Like if they happen to be by there, it just is, yeah. So it works.
Good.
So what do you have as a resource for this week, Sarah?
Well, mine's a little fun too. Sometimes I bring heavy, deep resources, but it is Friday afternoon. So we're going to go with something silly and fun, which I discovered on TikTok. So I hang out in the TikTok world mostly for one reason, and that is for simple, easy recipes. I think the recipe people on TikTok are a hoot. And some of them really are clever and creative, but here's my recommendation for today. It's called upside down pizza. My family loves pizza. So you use a cast iron skillet and you build your pizza upside down. Turn your oven on to like 400. And then you start by whatever meat you're gonna put on your pizza. So if it's pepperoni or sausage, and you put that in first. And then you put whatever vegetables you want, mushrooms or onions or olives, whatever. We put like zucchini, we put all kinds of veggies on our pizza. And then third, you layer all the way around the cheese. You can put as much as you want. And then on top of that, you put your pizza dough. So when you're done, it just looks like a cast iron skillet with a piece of piece of dough in there, but really the pizza's upside down. And then you bake it until that dough is nice and brown. Depending on the toppings, 20 to 30 minutes. And then you pull it out and you flip it upside down on a cutting board and you have this gorgeous pizza. And yeah, maybe it's more of a gimmick than anything, but it's just so creative and fun and tasty. And those toppings are like crisp and anyway, upside down pizza. You guys have to try it.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so yummy. I think you forgot the sauce though. Does that go on before the cheese?
Oh, I forgot the sauce. Sauce goes, thank you. So it's meat, veggies, cheese, then sauce.
Okay,
and
right.
then, yes, and it could be pesto or red sauce. Thank you for reminding me. And then alas, the dough on the top.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. And then you don't have flabby pizza.
No, no flabby pizza.
I'm going to completely try that. Okay. And I still not on TikTok. I just see them when my kids show me. ones. But I had no idea that there were recipes, but I just can't take on another thing. I just have kind of.
You don't
But
have to.
finally-
What I'll do, I will come in
finally-
when I discover a fabulous one. I'll just text it to you or email it to you, and then you
Okay.
can decide if you
Okay.
should keep it on your email or not.
Okay, sounds good. Oh my gosh, I love that, because that sounds so fun. I'm going to totally try that. And you can even do, for those of us who we have some great gluten-free people, there's so many crusts now, cauliflower crust, there's all kinds of ones at Trader Joe's everywhere, so you could do any kind of crust you want. I love that. We're trying that. I love that.
And one thing that was really cool is we have tried a lot of store-bought doughs, and they often will stick. And so we've had trouble with that. So I'm always like making it fresh, which is better and tasty. But by doing it upside down, your store-bought dough will never stick because it's on the top.
Yeah, so good. That is so fun. Oh my gosh, love it. What a great one. All right, so we're going to end with, as we always do, an inspirational quote. This week it's my turn, and I just picked one. I love so many quotes by this guy, but C.S. Lewis has many, many great quotes, but this one I really like because it just reminds us of just the fresh start we always have and can always take. And it is, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending.
Amen, amen. I'm applauding for those of you who can't see me.
So I like that, because I think sometimes we and our kids can get so discouraged because things seem to not be going our way. And yet, if you remember that it's not, what is it? If it's not good, it's not over, or whatever. Like, we will prevail eventually. We got to just keep on, it's like the 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And like Jake's story with his thing, like he got this great new job. He's out there hustling and trying to earn some money, and then he gets his parking ticket, and that's so deflating. But starting back up and doing it again and learning, live and learn, right? So
Absolutely.
So everyone, thanks for joining us. If you joined us on our walk this week, we will be back probably in a couple weeks with you again, usually on Thursdays at 4, sometimes on Friday at 5:30. You just never know when you might find us here on Facebook Live, but you will always be able to find us on the Sunshine Parenting Podcast in the podcast feed. Just look for the Salsa and Sunshine Walk and Talks if you want to listen to just these episodes. They're all in there. The first 4 are already in there. You can listen to our other talks. We enjoy them. We hope you're enjoying them as well. And we just want to send you off and wish you, whenever you're listening to this, just that may your life be full of both sunshine and salsa until we meet again.
Bye-bye, everybody.